Hey y'all, I'm back. If you don't know me, my name is Now That I'm Locked. I do a lot of short videos on YouTube. You may have seen me before. I do a lot of shorts and reels and things like that. 1 minute educational, motivational, just fun lock journey and natural hair journey videos that I have up on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're not already subscribed to those platforms, subscribe, follow. Also check out the community tab on YouTube because I post things in there as well. Without further ado, we're going to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about coloring your locks. I know some people are very technical and they're like, you need to use lightener. We're going to use what people can understand to keep this simple and easy so they can grasp it, so that we can help them out so we're not confusing them. So when it comes to lightening your locks, because I just started learning how to lighten my locks and color my locks and mastering it. And so I finally figured it out, and I want to really help people so that they understand and that they know that, they don't have to do extreme levels of developer and bleach to get certain colors, and they can keep their hair healthy. So the first thing I want to suggest is, I don't use bleach when I'm dyeing my hair. I don't use the BW2. I know it's very popular. I don't use that because I can get the same results from using Clairol's Texture and Tones box dye, because that is a professional grade dye. You can go to the store and get that. And literally, I use the lightest blonde as my basis because it lifts my hair. If it's coming out not what I envisioned, I can just throw semi-permanent hair dye on top, which is a form of toning the hair. Adore is what I typically use. And if you go back and look at my videos, I have all of the processes for that. Or you can use what I use for this front piece, which is Wella T18 and 20 Developer. Why is Developer important, and why am I bringing that up? Because sometimes you'll see people use 40 Developer for colors that they don't need to really use 40 Developer for. Now, if you're not trying to be frost white or platinum blonde, then 40 Developer is not necessary. Unless you're out here and your hair is jet black and you've dyed it jet black and you really need to lift that pigment out. If you're not trying to get to frost white or platinum blonde, you don't need to use 40 Developer. You could use and be safe with 30 Developer or 20 Developer, which is my favorite, because 20 is a guarantee that your hair is going to stay intact and your locks are not going to look like spaghetti locks or Grinch finger locks. So that's something to keep in mind when you are coloring your locks or dyeing your locks, right? You don't want to be out here using 40 Developer to get to ginger, because that's not really necessary. Once you go from a dark color, with the Textures and Tone box dye, when it is the lightest blonde, you're usually going to get a ginger color anyway, and you can brighten that with Adore semi-permanent hair dye and add something you want, mixed in there with the dye. So that will help to brighten it up. I've seen people literally mix the dye that they get from out the box and also Adore semi-permanent hair dye, and they get the color they want. I've seen people like myself who dye it and then they wait to add the Adore semi-permanent hair dye when the hair is faded, because it will be able to deposit in more color. So everybody does it differently. But you can get there and tone your hair without the drastic, let's do 40 Developer, and then we're damaging our hair and the bleach is eating our hair away, right? So when you see BW2, because I researched it, I myself have not personally used BW2, but I wanted to see the directions to see if they suggest 40, right? So when I went on their website, they said you can use either 10, 20, or 30 Developer. So they know that that's safe, right? Most colorists, they're all right, 10, 20, or 30, depending on how light your hair is. If they know your hair is already pre-lightened and let's say you sit in front of them and you want a specific color, like how my blonde is. For me, myself, I'm going to use myself as an example for coloring. If I want to get to pink, I could just put Adore semi-permanent hair dye on top and I don't have to use any Developer or bleach, and I'm going to get the color. Now, that's just the safer way to do it, so that your hair is not falling out, your locks are not turning into spaghetti noodles, and you don't have Grinch finger locks, right? But most people feel okay, no, I want to get this vibrant look, and they feel like it's not going to show up. If you go back and you watch my videos, you will see how bright those colors come out on my hair, and I'm not using 40 Developer or bleach constantly, which brings me to my next point. When you're touching up the color on your hair, you do not have to constantly use bleach on your hair. You literally, if bleach is the foundation for your color, you can put semi-permanent hair dye on top with what you want. And if you feel like it's not going to show up as much, you can add some developer in there so you can, give it a splash of a brighter color and you'll still get what you need versus using bleach every time. Because bleach is a strong chemical. So every time you're going in with it, you're breaking your hair down more and more. Bleach is not something that keeps your hair healthy. You have to keep it healthy with, just taking care of it and things like that. So you want to be careful, with whether you're using 40 developer and things like that. If you're not trying to be like Frost Snow White, or you're not trying to be like, like platinum blonde, you don't need to use like 40 developer and things like that. You really can stick to like your 10s or your 20s, depending on how light your hair is, or use like 30, some people use. So those are some of the things to keep in mind, as well as I always tell y'all, conditioning and deep conditioning. You can't go in and be like, oh, I'm going to color my hair and not use any type of conditioner or restoration treatments or things like that, because you weaken the hair shaft. Especially if you're someone that's going in and going ham and you're coloring your hair, within certain intervals as it starts to fade. So look for toning. You want to get toning products. They have shampoo, conditioners. They also have, the Adore semi-permanent hair dye, Kiss, Bijan. I prefer Adore because it gets really vibrant and it shows up, and I don't have to worry about, oh, is this going to show up? Adore is in there like swimwear, especially if you have bleached hair and your foundation is bleached. Also, keep in mind, you can use Wella T18. Wella Color Charm is another one. It's, the one that people like to use. You can find that at Sally's Beauty Supply Store, or wherever they sell that at, as well as, you can use developer mixed with that and get your hair bright to where you want it to be at without the bleach. Like, I don't use BW2 on my hair. This is like, this whole foundation from the color you see now is the Textures and Tones, Clear Out Textures and Tones box dye, which is a professional grade dye that I use on my locks to get it to be brightened. And then, like, if it comes out blotchy, which it did, because I was beginning to learn how to do just coloring locks, then, you can go in and correct the color over time. With blotchy color on locks, it happens usually because the hair is not like drenched in that color. You have to use like double the color you would use on loose natural hair for locks, because it's so much hair to cover, especially if you are coloring your hair or dyeing your hair during the budding stage or when your locks are real thick. So those are my gems. I hope this was helpful to anybody that this is your first time seeing one of my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out some more of my content and more color videos for locks. And I'll see you soon. Bye.